Hi, I'm going to be going over Unit 6, Lesson 2 today in Computer Science Discoveries. If Computer Science Discoveries is not one of the courses that you have, right here you're going to see that I have Computer Science Discoveries Unit 3 set up. I could also go here in my courses. I could go here and go to Computer Science Discoveries and view the course, and from there choose Unit 6. But if Computer Science Discoveries is not one of those, you could go to View More, or you could find a course, but essentially you are looking for Computer Science Discoveries. And right now I'm in the 2021 version because that's the school year this is. If you're watching this video later, then you would be in a different version. You could change the version up here as well. I'm going to be going to Unit 6. And in Unit 6, I'm going to be working on Lesson 2 today. Lesson 2, I'm at Task 1. They're giving us the new code that we're going to be learning about. In Task 2, they're asking which of these home screens is going to give me whatever my code here is looking for. So if you look at line 1, it says the home screen's background color should be beige. So based on that, I know that A and B are not beige. Letters C and D are some weird color that looks maybe a little bit beige. So I'm between C and D now. The title text should say Cat Translator. They both say that. The font size should be 45. They're both about the same font size. The description should be at 10,200. So the description should be at 10,200. The description is this this part right here where they're describing what the Cat Translator is. And letter D is the one that is that's upper left-hand corner of this box, appears to be at about 10,200. So that's why I've chosen letter D as the correct answer. And it looks like when we press run, we get a screen that looks much like letter D. Task 3, they're asking us to change so that our name is written here. I'm going to drag in the yellow set property, and let's follow these instructions. It says drag out a set property block. For the first parameter, select name. So for the first parameter here, I'm going to set name. For the second parameter, select text, because we want to talk about the text, what was actually written here, where the name is. And then for the third parameter, we're going to write your name. So I'm writing Ms. Bartek, and you're going to be writing whatever your name is. And when you press run, that's going to show up. Task 4, we're being asked to move this red rectangle to the upper left-hand corner. We're going to put a set property block in. And what I want to talk about is the red button. I want to talk about the red button's X. The X is to the left and right. So if I make the X 0, when I press run, the X is at 0. I'm also going to need to identify the red button's Y. The red button's Y should also be at 0 so that it's tucked up in the upper left-hand corner. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. And there we go. Now I'm going to be looking at task 5. Task 5, what they're asking us to do here is for when we actually click the smiley face, they want us to move the smiley face to another place. So on event, when the smiley is clicked, when this event happens, when the smiley is clicked, we want to set the smiley's X to be somewhere and the smiley's Y to be somewhere. So we want the X to be at, let's say, 300. And we want the smiley's Y. So we're going to have to change both the smiley's X and Y. And I'll just change them both to 300, 300. And when I click the smiley, oh, I can't see it. I can't see it because 300 brought the smiley off the screen. You can see a little bit of the side of the smiley. So I'm going to actually change the smiley's X to 200 and reset run. Click the smiley. When I click the smiley, it's going to move to that new location. All right, now what we want to do is instead of having the X and Y be at a set location, what we want to do is we want to actually put a random number in. So if I put a random number, and I'm going to put a random number anywhere from 10 to 280, and I'm just doing it on the X. So every time I click my smiley, the Y is going to be at 300, and the X is going to be somewhere between 10 and 280. I put it at 280 so that I could still grab some of it. If you look at the instructions, you're going to see that they've told you that the App Lab screen is 320 pixels wide, and it's 450 pixels tall. So I wanted to make sure that I put it within the parameters of the X. So now we have it so that the X is random. I also want to make it so that the Y is random. I'm going to make the Y be a random number from 10 to, I'm going to say about 410. So every time I click the smiley, it's just going to go to a random place. It's going to go to a random place on the X or the Y. All right, task 7. Task 7, what they want me to do here is they want me to have it so that when I press the trigger alarm button, the alarm is now on, but after you've pressed the trigger alarm button, you shouldn't necessarily be able to see the trigger alarm button. Because if we think about it, you've already triggered the alarm. You've already set the alarm off, so I shouldn't be able to see that button. Additionally, let's just do this really quick. So right now I have my code saying that when the trigger alarm button is clicked, the status label is going to say on. So this is going to say on, and the stop alarm button is no longer hidden. So they have hidden false because I've pressed the trigger alarm button. So I'm no longer going to hide the blue button. I do, though, want to hide the trigger alarm button. So now I'm going to choose this trigger alarm button, and I do, in fact, want that hidden. I don't want to see the trigger alarm button anymore. So now I'm going to press trigger alarm. The alarm is on. Now I have the ability to stop the alarm. All right. So that's what we're doing for this. When we go over to number 8, to task 8, what we want to do is take this a whole step further. Now we want to add another on event. I'm going to increase the size of my code space, and I'm going to pull out 3 set properties. I'm pulling out 3 because I know that I'm going to need 3. I'm going to need to talk about each of the buttons, and I'm going to need to talk about the text that's here. So First, when the next event that I'm going to be talking about is when the stop alarm button is pressed. After I have the trigger alarm button pressed, I now want to be able to press the stop alarm button. When that stop alarm button is pressed, the status label, text, should say off. So now when I press stop alarm, it should be changed to off. But I also should be able to now reactivate the alarm. So the trigger alarm button should now be shown. It should no longer be hidden. So hidden, I'm going to change to false. So now I've pressed the trigger alarm. My alarm will be changed from off to on. And now I'll be able to press stop alarm. Now that I press stop alarm, my alarm should be changed from on to off. But now this stop alarm button needs to be hidden as well. All right, so now when I press trigger alarm, the alarm is going to be changed to on. When I press stop alarm, the alarm is going to be changed to off, and the other button is hidden. Okay. This is an emotion machine. They're just asking you to see what happens. And when you press run, happy shows me a happy face and it says I'm feeling happy. Sad shows a sad face and I'm feeling sad. And meh shows the meh face and I'm feeling meh. They just want you to see how that works. When we go over here to number 10, we're going to be designing our own emotion machine. So it says create an event handler for sad button. So we have the first button is set. It says on event when the happy button is clicked. They have a happy face that's in there. So now they want us to create an event handler for the sad button. So we're going to drag this in, and when the sad button is clicked, they want us to set the property to find an image, just like what is shown up here in line 2. So we're going to bring out a set property. When the sad button is pressed, we want the face to be of a particular image. And we're going to press this down arrow to choose the proper image. We're going to click icons and we're going to find a sad face. So here's my sad face. Now when I press reset run, if I press the happy face, I get a happy face, and if I press the sad emotion, I get a sad face. Task 11 is asking us to change the color. So they want us to look back at the example, and I believe the example was in task 9. If you want to go back, you can look at that. And what they want us to do is change the color of the face. So I chose the wrong one. So I'm going to pull out another set property. And on this, I'm going to choose the face. And on the face, I want to choose the icon color. I'm going to choose blue for my happy face. So now when I press run and I choose the happy face, my happy face is blue. I'm going to do the same thing for the sad button. I'm going to change the face, change the icon color, and I'm going to make my sad face, I'm going to keep it red. So happy is a smiling blue, sad is a red frown, and Now we're going to go on to task 12. In task 12, they're asking us to create some text. So if you look at the bottom of the page says, I'm feeling. That is going to stay there. Those words are going to stay there. This question mark is what's going to change. So when we go to set property, we're going to be changing the feeling, not the feeling label, just the feeling. The feeling label is where it says, I am feeling. So we're going to be changing the text of the feeling. And for happy, I'm going to make happy really fun because I just feel like it. So now when I press run and happy, I'm going to see that I have a blue smiley face and it says I'm feeling happy. Now I'm going to bring in another set property and I'm going to be changing the feeling. Remember, it's not the feeling label, it's just the feeling. And I'm going to have my feeling text to say sad. And I'm going to make it look a little bit sad because, well, I want it to make sense. So now they're sad. All right. Now when we go on to number 13, to task 13, they want us to add another emotion. So I don't have a button here, though, for another emotion. So what we want to do now is we're going to click Design. We have to think back to how we created apps. So we have to go into design mode and we're going to need to bring a button in. So I'm bringing this button in and I'm going to be calling this button. I'm going to do meh, M-E-H underscore button. And the text is going to say meh. And I'm going to move it around. Sorry. I personally want the meh in the center. And then I'm going to put sad at the end. You don't have to do that, but you could. All right, now I'm going to go back into code. When I go into code, now I can do all of this for the meh button. So I'm going to choose the meh button, and I'm going to bring in 3 set properties. With those 3 set properties, I'm going to choose an icon for the face. So I need to choose a face image and go to icons, and we have a meh. Then I'm going to make it a particular color. So I want, oops, I chose the wrong thing. I need to choose the face. And I want the face's icon color to be, let's do yellow. Spelling will absolutely count here, by the way. If you don't spell it correctly, the computer's not going to know what you're talking about. And now I need to change the feeling. The feelings text is going to need to say meh. I'm going to make it fun. Maybe I can do a little something like that. All right, let's see how that is. So now when I press run, if I choose happy, I'm going to see a blue smiley face and it says I'm feeling happy. If I choose meh, it's going to show me a yellow, just straight face, and it says I'm feeling meh. If I choose sad, it's going to show me a sad face that's red, and it says I'm feeling sad. When you're done with that, you can submit it. And I hope this I hope you were able to get